Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us again on another eJenSolutions podcast. And this, of course, is the video version if you are watching us on YouTube. And I hope you subscribe by clicking the link on the side. And if you are listening to us on the podcast platform of choice, I hope you'll subscribe as well so that you never miss another episode. So today I'm so excited to bring to you a phenomenal person that I had the opportunity to meet online. And actually, this is the first time we're meeting face-to-face, and I'm just so excited to share her story and excited to introduce her. So today I have Jasmine Moore on the podcast with me, Chef Jazz for the rest of the podcast. And Chef Jazz is a cannabis chef. I mean, is that really? So I'm going to let you explain that. She has a site called greenpantherchef.com. We're going to talk about that more, but please introduce yourself and explain to me this whole business that you've really created for yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jen. And once again, I want to say thank you. So Chef Jazz, of course, I didn't start off like that. I graduated from culinary school in 2006. And so this was actually the exact same year I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease.
Oh.
And so I had dropped down to about 84 pounds. During this time, I was on 5 different medications, and I was at my wit's end, essentially. And so
that had to be so. How did you feel going into the culinary arts and then finding out you had this disease?
Exactly. So it's kind of bittersweet because now you know that you can cook yourself a good meal, and you have those techniques under your belt. But then still, like, when you can't get out of bed, it's like, what are you going to do with that stuff? And so I was really at that point. I mean, after the medications, after I was out of the hospital, I was then 96 pounds. Oh, exactly. And they're like, look, this is what you're going to do for the rest of your life. Don't.
So they just judged the whole process for you.
The whole process. You're going to take prednisone, you're going to take Niforex, and you can't eat any greens. And good luck with that. Is what I just heard. And so it was Google. I just, at my complete wit's end, just natural alternatives, because none of the pharmaceutical medication was working. So it was like, what can I do, right? And so cannabis, it kept popping up. And so I was just like, okay, you hear about it to smoke, you may have heard some songs, but it really looked like, looking at studies and research studies, that this actually was a viable compound that could help, right? Mm-hmm. So first you start smoking, that just made me feel sleepy, and it really just didn't work for my lifestyle. So I started to take it orally and then introduce it into my foods. And that's why Green Panther Chef was kind of born. I am no longer on any of the medications, and I wholly use food and like different strands. We'll probably talk about different compounds and terpenes, but I use specific strands as well and food. So, and I'm no longer on any medication.
Oh my goodness.
Pharmaceutical medication.
I love that you challenged what you were told. I love that because I think a lot of times we just accept what we're told and we don't really research or look, and especially that alternative options, whatever that may be. And so can you tell me a little bit, I know you had this problem, can you tell me a little bit about why you even started with food to begin with? Is this just passion of yours?
Definitely. So growing up, my mom owns restaurants. Right?
Oh.
So I grew up in restaurants all the way. I actually just did a radio interview, and I went to 9 different elementary schools, all the way from New York down to Alabama. And so my mom was a restaurateur. One school, I stayed there for 6 weeks, so I can talk to people really good, and it's just kind of like I just fit in. So my mom, and I picked up those nuggets along the way. She's a vegan raw food chef. And so I do that actually raw food and vegan. And I started integrating everything else along my journey, So, yeah, my mom being a restaurateur and traveling, that's how I really got started.
And she's an entrepreneur too.
Yeah.
So you got that from her to learn that, right?
Yeah. Apple doesn't fall too far, right?
Yep. So that's an amazing background. And I absolutely love journeys where people just take their life's path and turn it into a business, and one that you love and one that's helping you and others. Do you, and I apologize for my little phone there, I didn't turn it off. So my next question is, how did you, like, what was your journey from, okay, now I know that this helps me, how can I use that as a business? How did you make that transition?
Into business, really word of mouth. Because
Really? That's good.
exactly, because after years, I told you I was 96 pounds. And so just friends and community, they're like, oh, wow, you're vertical again, Jasmine. Like, oh, wow.
It was that bad.
Yeah, it was really bad. Oh, you put on some weight and this, that. And I'm telling them, like, oh, cannabis is a miracle drug. And a lot of people do believe that it's a stigma associated with it,
Yeah.
And so people actually looking, like, I'm my own case study. People are actually looking at what happened from 2006 to 2008, and they're like, have you seen this woman? So
you're a walking testimonial.
Exactly. So we started as Jazz Decatur in 2008, but then Green Panther Chef was really born to come out the shadows because of the whole legalization and the crumbling and everything. The time is now to come out the closet. The cannabis closet is what I call it, and help the people who need it.
Yeah. And so to be clear, because I know we've talked about this before, you have a team, you have a lawyer, and so everything that you are doing is very legal.
Yes. Yeah, my business partner is a lawyer. I have a team of chefs. I work with a nutritionist as well. So when we do talk to people, it is around that 360 wellness that we're talking. So we're touching on the food components because that's a pillar to your health. I think cannabis is great, but you also have to have other components, and that's nutrition, that's mindfulness, and that all plays a factor into it.
Definitely.
Having those right people around you, that's the way to make it happen and have the biggest impact too.
Now, you started to use Instagram. I think you've used that probably from the beginning as well, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about how you have integrated that and how that's helped you grow your business?
Yeah, actually, social media has been good. I know a lot of people say that social media don't pay that much attention to it. Email marketing is great, as well. We have our automations and everything like that. But social media, it has really gotten me, especially Instagram and Twitter, has gotten me in front of the eyeballs that I really need to see. So you're throwing out a blanket, but if your hashtags are right and everything like that, you're throwing it out in a niche blanket as well.
Yeah, definitely. Can you tell us a little bit about, because we were talking a little bit before the show, and of course we've talked earlier. Can you tell us a little bit about the hashtags and what you've kind of learned in that journey?
Yeah. So hashtags, some people say they're dead, some people say that they're great. I definitely think that they're great. It can be, if you're posting something online, it can become a little bit cluttered. So I like to leave it in the comments or something underneath. But I think hashtags targeting what your mission is definitely been, like, I'm a Crohn survivor. We talk about wellness, CBD, knowledge and power. Those things really attract the crowd that we need, or our base. So I really think that hashtag pinpoints your user segment, you can touch them.
Well, and it comes down to knowing your customer and knowing who is your target market. And so not only are you probably using local hashtags because you have to, especially in your business, that's where you work, and legally can work within certain areas. But then also, like you said, the wellness crowd or people who are looking for alternative options for things. And then I'm wondering, do you also use hashtags even for the different diseases like what you had and things like that as well?
Mm-hmm. Weight loss is another one, a big one. We also do gastrointestinal, IBS, Crohn's disease. Those, like, really focusing on the gastro and the gut, right? That's the second brain. And so
healthy gut.
Exactly. We really focus on that.
Do you Do you find that certain photos that you post get a little bit more attention than others? Certain types, I should say.
Definitely. And people don't like it. The Instagram, at least, they don't like a lot of copy in their photos. They like live action shots. And what I'm starting to realize is that going live is one of just being raw and in your form. You know, a lot of people like that.
Yeah, definitely. What are some of the things that you've done? Have you done behind the scenes, or are you doing completed parties? Like how are both?
So we do lots of events, and then also we have an online cooking class that I'm putting together.
Oh, I didn't even know that. We'll have to ask that after you answer this.
So on the blog, you know, it's just kind of like testers and teasers. You can just like poke around, find out what's cannabis, and we're very we want you to use the information, so it's put in layman's terms, you know. So we do a lot of behind the scenes shots on that, you know. We have on my iPhone, just me having makeup. Oops.
I'm sorry. Didn't mean to.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm showing. So for those that are listening, I just switched over to a screen share so we can actually see her Chef Jazz's website, greenpantherchef.com. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. No, so this is where everything lives. Like, thanks for that. So we talk about the endocannabinoid system, like a few things that you could keep in your pantry, you know, for health and wellness, because it really is about bridging that gap in between food and cannabis.
Right.
So we do a lot of videos as well, because we've seen like a lot of people like to take in content like that.
Yes.
You know, so yeah.
And I see that you house this on Vimeo.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're using that platform, which is something new for me, but a lot of professionals love this platform because the quality is really good. Have you found engagement through that process as well? Or has it been more of like this on your blog as part of information?
Definitely on my blog. I like to have people just come back to this area. So Vimeo, not too much, you know. I
think someone's helping you, partnering with you on this too. So
yeah, absolutely. I cannot do like a team, right? You gotta have a team,
right? So I'm sorry, I cut you off and I didn't mean to. I was just trying to explain to everyone. So going back, what were we talking about before I did that?
We were talking, I know, right? How do people reach me, or like where? I totally forgot too.
Well, that's okay, because I just saw something else I want to ask you. Favorite Cannabis Butter?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, explain that.
Definitely. So I hear stories like all the time of people either curled up in a fetal position because the butter was too strong, or they didn't know how to dose. So this here is a labor of love, but it is my favorite Cannabis Butter. It's light tasting. It's airy. Oh, see, it's light tasting. It's really not easy, but you can really, it's versatile. You can put it into basically any meal, and you can just sub out the butter, and of course you can use oil or something like that.
Yeah, so you have a whole recipe here.
Yeah.
That's fabulous. I love it. So you're putting recipes here. You're talking a little bit about different diseases and how it's helped.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this isn't a replacement for a doctor or anything like that, medical professional. Absolutely. But, and so let's see what else you've done. Look at this. You have so many videos. I'm going to go down a rabbit hole here just looking at your site.
Yeah, definitely. And so, like I always say, like Green Panther Chef is about bridging the gap in between cannabis and food. And so we are not here to replace any doctor. I am not a doctor. I'm just sharing my story, you know, and what has helped for me. And so what we really talk about are different strands that can promote homeostasis in the gut. We talk about different foods, where you can find us, and how you can integrate it into your life, you know?
Right. And people can book a consultation from you. What exactly does that, and I'm assuming that can be anywhere. Mm-hmm. What does that, what is included, and how do you normally do that?
Definitely. So when you want to book a consultation, we do offer one-on-one consultations. I just spoke to someone in Miami, and she's interested in just like, how do you integrate cannabis into this edible, into, she wants to work in the edible business.
Right.
And so she wants to figure out like dosing, the metrics, the strands, all of that. And so we do offer packages like that, but then what my main focus is really helping people. So consultations are more so focused on people calling with an ailment, and we'll discuss like, what can we do to help you, and that
Right.
be it may our events, be it may meal prep, be it may our conscious condiment line,
which we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So if someone would like to purchase from you, you have some things that can be shipped, I'm assuming.
Yes. So
can you explain that and tell me what it is, because I will mess that up for sure. The conscious condiment line, right?
I know, right? It's just full of seed. I love my seed.
Love it.
Yeah, so with the 2018 hemp bill passing, now CBD is legal to sell across the nation.
Okay.
And so I have always tinkered in my kitchen with like different condiments. And I used to call them conscious because they have no additives, no preservatives, and I like to keep it below 7 ingredients.
So it's clean.
It's very clean, exactly. Everything is microbial tested afterwards. Our CBD, every product has 75 to 125 milligrams of CBD in it. And so CBD it promotes the anti-inflammatory, it's antibacterial as well. And so we put these inside of our products just so you can touch on and build up those cannabinoids in your system. So here we have like hot sauces. And the reason why we started with the hot sauce line is because, believe it or not, it supports your gut. Is one of the hot peppers is one of the best things to put in your gut. And then also mustard, fermented foods are also great in your gut. So we introduced a mustard as well. Like I said, it is infused with CBD. We've run focus groups on it. People love it. The biggest thing that I hear, and I hear Frank's has this, but it's like, I put that shit on everything. Excuse my language, but
it's okay.
So I'm like, yes, I have a tagline now.
I put that shit on everything.
Everything, right?
There you go. That's funny. So, and then there's sweet green and mustard, and what is the other one? I can't see in the back.
So this is Up in Smoke, and so we actually
Up in Smoke hot sauce.
Mm-hmm. And we actually have some spice blends as well. And so what that is, we do like a herbs of Provence. I have a za'atar as well. And these are things that you just sprinkle on the top of your food. It is decarb with CBD. And so that's actually inside of the spice seasoning. It's all about building up the cannabinoids in the system.
Yeah. Wonderful. And you even put in, if this was a wine, it would be a full-bodied Bordeaux.
Yes. I like wine.
Your wine, so am I. So that's awesome. Have you thought about doing pairings, wine pairings?
Definitely.
Have you done them?
No. Focusing on the food more so.
Yeah.
I would love to collaborate and do more like wider tastings.
Yeah.
But right now, focusing on that food.
And so just looking at your gallery, there's a lot of interesting foods here. Can you tell us just a little bit about what we're seeing? Like in this particular, it looks like a kebab or?
Mm-hmm. So we do like events and parties. This was actually an event not too long ago. We did veggie kebabs. We do all of our meat is all grass fed. Everything is free range, organic. We really like to stay on that conscious side.
Right.
So these are free range beef kebabs, and then here we did actually a vegan mac and cheese ball. These are the fried balls that are over here.
Okay, I see that. Those look delicious.
And then we of course did like a little salad. Down here, people love just showing the versatility here is chicken and waffles that are down here on the bottom.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Exactly. And so the waffles aren't featured. That's a gnocchi that's in the back. But yeah, just showing the versatility. And then off to your right here, this is my bundt cake. I was playing around during the holidays, and I poured a tincture of infused bourbon over top of it, and that was so good.
And we're doing this just around lunchtime, so now I'm hungry. Thank you. Well, if you could now, and having all this and just really developing your business, which is phenomenal, and I love your site. I love everything that you're doing. How do you think, or how do you see this growing for yourself?
Yeah, definitely. More so moving into the processor realm of things and focusing on the events and the teaching aspects and becoming more of a production facility. So we can take in, because our processes are so rigorous, like all of our products are tested, as well, pre and post production. And so really getting that out into the international distribution and become more of a processor on that level. Of course, that's 3 years out, 18 to 3 months, 3 year goal. But yeah, we're moving on that.
Awesome. And do you see yourself expanding to other states?
Franchise, that's 5 years. So like we can go down.
Yeah, I love this. This is what I love about you. You have a plan. And
yes, yeah. In 5 years, franchising more so in 5 years. But right now, the production facility focusing on that.
Wonderful. This is awesome. Well, do you have any advice for anyone just starting out, very basic in their business, to someone who is looking at social media? And I think you said it exactly. Does social media work for you? Do you have any advice for anyone listening out there?
Definitely know your audience. Like you said, research your hashtags and don't give up.
Yeah. And do you find that being consistent has helped as well?
You have to be consistent. I mean, think about it. If you're in a relationship and someone just goes away, right? It's kind of like, really, how committed are you, And so I always put it like that. Consistency is key. It builds trust, and all that good stuff.
Right. You're not going away. You're not going to not answer phone calls because you're continually posting. And so you're open for business.
I'm here.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you so much. I'm just going to go over. We can reach you by going to greenpantherchef.com. You can talk to Chef Jazz yourself with one-on-one time. And of course on Instagram as Green Panther Chef, right? And I'll put the links in our blog and show notes. And I think this is it. I appreciate your time. This was wonderful to learn about you and your business. Thank you.
So much, Jen.
All right. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay.